Okay, let's try it. So I want to tell a story, a true story from this past summer, 2021. The one baseball game, Padre game that I got to with my son-in-law. Well, the one I got to, and I took my son-in-law Kevin with me. It happened to be a game in which the San Diego Padres fell behind early in the game, 8-0, only to win in a remarkable comeback, 9-8. And that probably does figure in the story in this way. Early in the game, as the Washington Nationals were piling on the runs, there was a group of, 8 or 9, I'd say young men, 3 rows behind where Kevin and I were sitting, all in a row, probably like 19 to 22 years old, somewhere in there. And the thing is, they were being really rude. Their language was highly objectionable. They were using the supreme 4-letter word multiple numbers of times loud. And you try to sort of ignore for a little while, and maybe I did one of these little quick things once or twice, and it was just horrid. Finally, I'd had all I could take, and I stood up and I turned around and I said something to the effect, "Look, you guys, I know the Padres are getting killed, but you have to find other ways to express your dissatisfaction. This is a public setting. There are children here. You cannot use that kind of language, just in a public setting like this. It's got to stop." Something like that. And there was one guy in particular. In fact, I think I sort of directed my comments to the one I knew who was being the most offensive with all this. But somebody else in this line of guys, one of his cohorts, said to me, something, well, they all probably had noted that I keep score. I had my little score book. They'd probably gotten a kick out of that already. And so one guy says, just turn around, sit down and do your little scorebook thing. I didn't like the way he dismissed my scorebook, but what bothered me more is he wasn't even the guy I was talking to. So I looked at him and I said, "Shut up." I did. I might have needed a timeout then, D. I was angry. I said, "Shut up." And he said back to me, "You shut up." Yes, he did. That's what he said. So I responded wittily and with great, insight, "No, you shut up." And that's my shut up story. Now, what happened then is I said something to the effect, if you guys can't, contain yourselves better, I'm going to go find an usher. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to get you guys escorted out. And it was great because down the row, in my row, a young man stood up and said, "I'm on it already." And he got up and he left and walked out to find an usher. And they kind of went like, "Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you do that kind of thing." Well, he did. He brought back an usher, a woman with a big guy who was like a bouncer usher. And they were escorted out of the stadium. And everybody in our area started applauding and waving goodbye to them. And it became this, I've got to tell you, this amazing bonding experience among all of us, where the people right behind me that were, like in between all this "you shut up" stuff, really nice family. It was the grandparents and some grandkids, and I think, the grandkids' mother. So the mom was there with her folks. And it turned out the mom had done an MA through Point Loma. I don't know if it was I think it was in education. So that kind of came up, and we had a really nice talk about that. I think that was after the expulsion of the young hooligans. And the young man to my right who said, I'm on it, he was there with his fiance, and they in turn were there with a young couple, a young married couple who were immediately to my right. And I got talking to all four of them. Kevin talked the night. Kevin's a social guy, my son-in-law. He talked the night away to the guy to his left, somebody visiting from Oklahoma, I think it was. But I had a great time with these two couples. The one already married. I really like them, all four. And oh no, they weren't married yet. They're engaged. And I said, well, do you have somebody to perform your wedding? Because I was ready to volunteer. And they said, nah, we have that lined up. But the other couple of the guy that went and got the usher and such, she said, well, we don't, and we want your card. So I was passing out my little card everywhere. But all in the aftermath of the great "You Shut Up, No, You Shut Up" shouting match. And Dee, I think your daughter would have thought everybody just needs a timeout.